My name is Scott Zucker. I'm an attorney specializing in real estate. Work very much in the self-storage industry, and have done that for a number of years. Based out of Atlanta, and we work with self-storage operators from real estate development to operations. So we've seen these moratoriums, some temporary, some longer term, in a number of states, primarily California, Illinois, Georgia, New York's recently added to the moratorium list. And all it is an opportunity by the local zoning officials to restrict the growth of self-storage where they think it's happened too much in their areas. So the primary argument by the zoning officials has been that self-storage doesn't enhance the tax base. There's less sales tax in most jurisdictions regarding rental income. The other concern is about number of jobs being offered by self-storage development, and they balance that against what could potentially take its place, like restaurants, hotels, other retail businesses that would add to the tax base and potentially add jobs. They also have concerns regarding the past reputation of self-storage being an area where there may be criminal activity, and they've pushed back on those sort of issues, all of which are unfair and not appropriate for our industry. So when we do zoning defense for operators, we focus a lot on education to the commissioners that are making these decisions in these local jurisdictions for zoning. We really want to talk about the fact that their customers, our self-storage customers, need self-storage in these areas. A lot of these areas would be places where there's smaller footprints for both businesses and for residential use, and they need to store their inventory for the businesses, and they need to store their property for residential. So it creates a benefit for folks that would need self-storage. And we try to educate the operators about that. There's also the legal defenses, which go to questions such as fairness of focusing on self-storage for development as compared to other businesses. There's basically an argument, it's an equal protection under the law issue that says that you can't treat self-storage uniquely different than other industries. And unfortunately, self-storage, in our belief, has been treated unfairly. It's because of the growth in the industry over the past number of years, and they think there's too many self-storage facilities, so they treated us unfairly. So the developers hate the moratoriums. There's a lot of excitement about developing in some of these areas, and the moratoriums just put a complete kibosh on those sort of developments. In areas that are just resistant to self-storage, they're delaying the approval of permits, and to the extent that those permits are being delayed just through the process of getting approvals for the development of the project itself, it could take months, if not years, to get some of these projects approved, so the developers can lose a lot of money during that period of time. And so it's had a tremendous economic impact to self-storage developers by having to deal with the permitting issue and the risk that their projects will never be approved. So we counsel developers when they're focusing on an area that has been resistant to self-storage to work with the county commissioners or city commissioners that are making these decisions to, again, educate them about why they want to put a self-storage property in their jurisdiction, how it could enhance the community. I got to tell you, the way that they're building self-storage now, these newer generation properties, they're really beautiful. I mean, the facades are great. They can do mixed use with other retail and even with residential. So there's a lot of opportunities to be creative. And I think if they go in on the front end for an opportunity to introduce themselves and educate these commissioners, I think it could reduce a lot of the resistance they're getting in ultimately applying for these permits for development. So just go out there and teach people the benefits of self-storage.